Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You may notice something different about this video, and that is that I'm standing up and not at my normal desk, because I feel like I want to try something different every so often. So I've moved my green screen up, and that means we can point over here and put some pictures to this classic review of Judgment Day 2000 on the 21st of May from the Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, we have a tasty WWE Championship match on the card for this one, a 60-minute Iron Man match between Triple H, the former champion, and The Rock, the current champion, the People's Champion, with his eyebrow and everything else to go with it. Obviously, the dastardly McMahons are going to get involved somehow, but how? If you've never seen this one, go onto the network and watch it, or you can just watch this review and find out everything that happened on the 21st of May in Louisville, Kentucky for Judgment Day. So, Judgment Day 2000 was brought to you on commentary by the King and JR, a classic commentary team who I have absolutely adored throughout the years. And we get introduced to the McMahons then, having a chat, Mr. McMahon giving his troops a good talk and a fighting talk, and he's like, get out there and do your best. Not really, it's Vince McMahon. If you don't do your best, you're fired, basically. Anyway, Briscoe is the current hardcore champion. We don't know how this happened. I can't remember how this happened. Luckily, we do get a flashback later on in the show, so we'll get to that. He is on his toes, but at the beginning of the show, to open up the show, we get him sneaking around backstage, and he gets beaten up by Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers. Team that I really liked back in the day. I thought they were absolutely hilarious. On top of that, they were actually a very good tag team. We go into the first match now. Speaking of tag teams, a staple for any show, a tag team match to start us off. It is a 6-man tag team match. It is Too Cool, Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and they are joined by the Assman Rikishi on their team. They are going against Team Ek, which is Edge, Christian and Kurt Angle. And of course, if anybody remembers this, before the match even began, Edge and Christian came out with a bag and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, for their 5-second pose, and they got out the big teeth, the big hats and the jug band, and it was absolutely hilarious. These guys were brilliant back in the day, and they totally reeked of awesomeness, of course. And just to prove that, I've got my trusty kazoo. Yeah, that's as much as we'll go on that one. So 6-man tag team match. This one lasted a good 10 minutes. It's a standard 6-man tag match. It breaks down in the end, but Rikishi does pick up the win for his team, pinning Kurt Angle, who had the best rookie year in 2000 of any wrestler ever on professional wrestling circuit. So that was a big thing for Rikishi at that point, especially with Edge and Christian being so hot at this point in time as well, with the tag team ladder matches and tables matches and TLC matches. This was a big thing. Too Cool and Rikishi win, they do a dance off, and everybody is happy. Thank you to Too Cool for inventing the dance off. Anyway, we go on to the next match. We get Michael Cole interviewing HBK, who is the special guest referee for the 60-minute Iron Man match. Of course, he has lots of experience in this, being in the, I think he was in the only other 60-man Iron Man match. 60 minute, not 60 man, that's just something completely different. That is the Greatest Royal Rumble, and no one wants to remember that. So the 60-minute Iron Man match. So is he going to be fair? Yes, he says he's going to be fair. He tells Maggle Cole that he is going to be absolutely fair and call it straight down the middle. So we move on, and Dean Malenko catches Eddie Guerrero arriving in his limo with China. Well, it's not a limo, it's actually just a really nice car with his main squeeze China, and tells her not to get involved, and that Dean Malenko is going to go home as the European champion. Yes, it is the European Championship, and it's a triple threat, so another triple six-person or triple threat match to go on to next. It is Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, and of course Eddie Guerrero is flanked by China, or Mamacita as she was back in the day. Now, this one lasted a good 8 minutes, so you know, we're not far into it, but we're getting lots of different things going off around the matches, which I really like about the year 2000. There was a lot of storytelling going off, transitioning from the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression Era. But of course, after telling China not to get involved, of course she does get involved. Although this match is absolutely brilliant, because you've got three very technically sound wrestlers who know each other like the back of their hand. They came into the company together as the Radicals, and that is enough said about this match. It is really good. It's such a good match. Dean Malenko on top for most of it. Perry Saturn just sort of sitting by the wayside. Eddie Guerrero getting his licks in, but it does turn out that you know, after Eddie Guerrero's getting beaten up by the other two, China does get involved after being warned not to get involved, of course, and it turns out that there is an iron bar in the flowers that she is holding. So Perry Saturn goes first, and Dean Malenko falls with a little bit of a leg trip from China onto the metal bar, and Eddie Guerrero picks up the victory and retains his European Championship. On to the next match next. On to the next match. It is Shane McMahon versus Big Show. A couple of months ago, these two were inseparable. After WrestleMania, Big Show decided that he wanted to have more fun, and so he did. He came out as Shokishi and the Showster, some of the best, most funny things that the Big Show has ever done in professional wrestling, and certainly in the WWE. Shane McMahon takes umbrage to this, and he says, look, you're a joke, everyone's laughing at you, you're a 7 foot, 500 pound monster, what are you doing? And this leads to basically a street fight match, and or an old board, yeah, false count anywhere, but it's basically the same thing. So false count anywhere match this time. It is the Big Show, of course, absolutely dominant against Shane McMahon. He can take a licking, and he usually comes out ticking, does Shane McMahon, and it's no different here in this match, because, of course, Shane McMahon, he's got the money, so he pays people, he pays hired hitmen to come out and help him, and of course he's got a big sort of family unit around him at this point in time. Test comes out, Albert comes out, Trish even gets involved and tries to take down the Big Show. Yeah, that went well, but we got to see Trish, so that was cool. So then we got Bull Buchanan, we get the Big Boss Man tries to come out. Big Show takes all these guys out, they battle to the entrance ramp. That's when Bull Buchanan comes out, takes out the Big Show's legs. He is lying prone on the floor near the entrance ramp. Shane McMahon tips over a speaker onto the Big Show's leg, traps the big man underneath the speaker, somehow, some way finds a cinder block, because, you know, things to pack for a wrestling show. Tables, ladders, chairs, cinder block. Yeah, so it's a good job they had one of those spare hanging around. Anyway, Shane McMahon comes round with the cinder block, smashes it over the Big Show's head. He's out for the count. 1, 2, 3. Your winner is Shane McMahon in this one. And then we get to see a visual of the Big Show being helped out of the arena. He's bundled into a, not bundled, but he's put it into a back of an ambulance. You can see that his leg is actually visibly cut, so something happened here, because obviously, you're not supposed to actually get hurt, and obviously he's not fully hurt, but he's cut. But Shane McMahon wins. Against the odds, he picks up the victory. Shane O'Mac, here comes the money, and yes, so we get that. Boogie can take a big pat on the back for that one, I think. So we get a flashback to Gerald Briscoe winning the Hardcore Championship. So how did Gerald Briscoe win the Hardcore Championship? Well, he won it while Crash was sleeping, and it's like 1, 2, 3, and he's like, yeah, bloody hilarious. Anyway, so Briscoe's still on his toes. HBK has a chat with Triple H, like they're old buddies, they're both in DX and stuff, and forget all about the old denouncement of HBK out of WWE when he broke his back, and out of DX. Obviously these guys have always remained friends, but the storyline we'll see later on as we go through the years says completely differently, and it was done so well. So they're having a chat, and did you have to wear those shorts? It looks like smuggling bananas. Triple H is the only man that could probably get away with saying that to HBK himself. So Chris Benoit, shut up Siri. Siri, God, everyone's a critic. Next is a submission match. It is Chris Benoit, he who shall not be named, although I've just said it, and he's going against Chris Jericho. These two are absolutely made for each other in terms of quality of matches, and this one was no different. Obviously the objective in a submission match is to make your opponent tap. Now, this one lasted a near 15 minutes, and the focus on the arm of Jericho from Chris Benoit all the way through this. He definitely has the upper hand. He is the aggressor in this one. He's definitely got the more aggressive attitude. Chris Jericho is very much a fan favourite at this point in time. Jericho comes back, focuses on Chris Benoit's legs, of course, setting up and back, and of course setting up for the walls of Jericho. But who would win this one? Well, Chris Benoit did get the upper hand. He made Chris Jericho bleed, and of course there's no real rules in a submission match. You can't be disqualified. You've got to make your opponent submit, say I quit or tap out. So of course weapons got involved, lots of weapons in the year 2000, and Chris Jericho's got open. He passes out in the crossface, and Chris Benoit retains his Intercontinental Championship on this occasion. It would flip-flop between the two. Obviously Chris Jericho having the championship towards the beginning of the year, sharing it with China going off with Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit picking it up as well, and these two would just keep having fights and fights and fights. They're like Itchy and Scratchy, only with more wrestling involved, which, yeah, I can deal with that. So we go on to the penultimate match before the main event, and we have DX, which is the Road Dogg, and X-Pac in a tag team championship match. It's a tag team tables match. Tag team championships aren't actually on the line in this pay-per-view. Actually, I didn't realise that. Tag team tables match. Basically what needs to happen is that both members of a team need to go through a table. It's not an elimination match, so they don't need to go to the back, but they can help stop their tag team partner also going through the table and losing the match. So it's DX, which is Road Dogg, and X-Pac. They are flanked by Tori, and the Dudley Boys are their opponents. Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley, of course, half brothers from Dudleyville. and their father is Big Daddy Dudley. So tag team tables match, really good match. This one, it's straightforward. There's no rules. There's not many rules on this show, to be honest. But this one goes 10 minutes long. I think he'd go a bit longer, but it doesn't. Devon goes through the table first, followed by X-Pac and Briscoe saves DX at this point, and Bubba Ray wants to put Tori through a table. He is very much set in his ways about putting the ladies through tables at this point in time. I don't even know where that came from, but he absolutely is. And Bubba Ray is about to put X-Pac through a table. Tori stops him from doing that, and Bubba Ray is put through the table with an X Factor from the ropes. So D-Generation X win this one with a little bit of help from Tori and a little bit of help from General Briscoe to help with X-Pac putting Bubba Ray through the table. Of course, Briscoe is like, yeah, I helped out, I won, and he's like, yeah, it's like, woo. But the boys, they're not going to let that go, because they put Gerald Briscoe through a table next. So you know, that was fun. Always good to see a geriatric going through a table. But there you go, that is professional wrestling, and that's what we're dealing with. So we're on to the main event now, and it's Triple H versus The Rock for the WWE Championship. And it's The Rock who is the champion. Triple H is going for the champion. He wants his title back. Pretty much held the title at some point throughout the next 5-10 years. And Triple H is with Shane, Stephanie and Vince in this one. Also, he then gets on the mic and says, actually, you know what? Go to the back. I want to do this by myself. Very commendable by Triple H. The only commendable thing he will do all night. He played a massive heel character at this point in time, rather than his corporate role that he plays now. Oh, what a great heel he was as well. Of course, Michaels is the special guest referee, ex-D-Generation X, good friend of Triple H. What's going to happen in this match? Well, I can tell you straight off the bat, after about 10 minutes, The Rock goes 1-0 with a cradle, an inside cradle. Actually, no, it's a rock bottom rather. I've gone too far down my list. The inside cradle was the third fall after a pedigree by Triple H. So Triple H goes 2-1 up on 26 minutes, a minute after he pedigreed The Rock and got the second fall. Triple H pulls further ahead, going 3-1 up with a pinfall after a vicious looking pile driver. So Triple H is very much in the lead at this point, going 3-1 up. 3-2, Rock is coming back, pinfall after a DDT. We're seeing lots of old school moves becoming the finishers in this match. I mean, 60 minutes, you've got to go strong and hard, but The Rock is definitely the aggressor in this one. I assumed that when I was watching this, and you should never assume anything in professional wrestling or in life lesson from Cheap Shot Entertainment. But you should never assume anything, because The Rock was definitely the aggressor. He was the more cerebral of the two, rather than being the cerebral assassin. Triple H was on the back foot for most of this, and he got quite a few of his falls from mistakes by The Rock, and surprise roll-ups, because it is the most devastating move in professional wrestling. So he comes back to get a pinfall after a DDT. Rock brings it back level at 3-3 with a disqualification. Triple H gets disqualified for attacking The Rock with a steel chair. So yes, okay, you know, you've got 60 minutes. Why not be a dastardly heel, lose one of your falls by hitting your opponent over the head, because then you can go straight for a pinfall after using the ropes for leverage, which is how Triple H got back up to 4-3, and he goes 4-3 ahead. 5-3 to Triple H after a submission. The Rock passes out in a sleeper hold. So again, lots of old school moves in this match. It was quite refreshing to see. And we've got 10 minutes left. Can the Rock pull it back? So that is now 5-3. The Rock gets another fall via count out. Triple H was counted out after a pedigree on the broadcast table by the Rock. So the Rock uses the people's pedigree to pin Triple H in this one. Well, getting counted out, of course. So the Rock brings it back to 5-5, a pinfall after the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, the Rock bottom. It is now 5-5, and we're going into basically what is sudden death. At 59 minutes and 59 seconds, it is clocked that the Rock was disqualified after a returning Taker comes down to the ring on his motorbike. Biker Taker, here we go, badass, and all of that. Don't know where the music was. Obviously I watched it on the network, so they probably cut it out. He comes down, he choke slamming everybody. Briscoe, Stephanie McMahon, Shane. Of course, all these guys come down at this point because, you know, it's getting a bit close. They want Triple H to come back with the title. And after a tombstone pile driver, which is profusely, he says, "Do not pile drive Triple H," as they'll have no. Although the timer has run out at this point, but you know, it's wrestling, so there you go. Undertaker gives Triple H the tombstone pile driver, and the referee calls for the bell. What is the decision? Well, in a typical heel move and a middle finger to the wrestling fans at the time, the Rock is disqualified after the Undertaker attacked Triple H, even though he chokeslammed him before the timer limit. And so, don't know how you get disqualified afterwards. It should have gone to sudden death, but there you go. Probably run out of time. Well, that is everything. Triple H is your new WWE champion, and The Rock lives to fight another day. He goes back licking his wounds, but he does obviously changes hands quite a lot during 2000. Kurt Angle would pick it up later on. Rock picked it up. Rikishi would even get in on the act by the end of the year, and you know, there's a lot of things going off in the year 2000, and what a crazy time it was as well. So Triple H is your new champion, your new WWE champion as of the 21st of May, year 2000 in Kentucky. So what do I think about this pay-per-view? It obviously all led up to that fabulous 60-minute Iron Man match. Some of the matches were very much throwaway. They were all a lot of fun. The Radicals Fatal Triangle match was triple threat, whatever, for the European Championship. That was really good. The Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho submission match was fantastic. And of course, the final match, the 60-minute Iron Man match, was brilliant as well. I'd go middle of the road on this one, roughly. I'd probably go 3.5 stars out of 5 if I was going to be picky, just because of the 60-minute Iron Man match, and the good matches there on it were very technically sound and very much a lot of fun, as well as Briscoe following him around with the Hardcore Championship, which was hilarious. Yeah, that is Judgment Day 2000 as of May 21st, which I've already said. I've been your host, Luke. Don't forget to go over to the store and pick up your merch from Close to Order, and join us on all of the social media. Let me know what you think about the new setup. You know, do you want me to do more standing reviews? I feel like I've had a lot more energy standing up actually, which is always a good thing. So like I say, just something a little bit different. I may still sit down to do my movie reviews, but I do feel like I can convey things a lot better with a lot more energy when I am actually stood up. So let me know what you think over on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, of course, don't forget to do all the YouTubey stuff as well. You know, I've put my heart into this, and this will go out on the 21st, so I hope you're going to be watching it. I hope you enjoyed the video and the classic review from Cheap Shot Entertainment. I have been your host, Luke, and you are the Cheap Shot Nation. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.